Hi there. Good afternoon from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's the capital of the province of Alberta. And usually, whenever I go for a walk, there's one of those things starts flying overhead and around me, and it's like almost non-stop. And yet, where I am in Edmonton, there's no airport for like 20 miles. The closest airport is in this little town called Leduc. Plane, drone, who knows. I am Dave Dowling. I do live in Edmonton, Alberta. I am recording this there on February 6th, a Sunday, and it's 2022 for the year. And that there is my quarterstaff, of which I have boldly claimed that when I clap my hands, literally, my quarterstaff literally dances in the air. And there's my infamous gloved hand that hides the hideous scars on my hand from surgery I've had. And it helps me deal with chronic pain too. And I'm using that just for a comparison of a quarterstaff here, which is mine. This is one of my quarterstaffs. It's about a couple of inches over 5 feet in height. And in my opinion, it's not quite a true quarterstaff, because from what I've read on the subjects of quarterstaffs by some ancient war masters and others, is that a true quarterstaff was thick enough in diameter. Apparently, it was the diameter that they would use was the diameter of a 1/4 pound of silver in olden times, when they first started measuring weights in pounds of silver and gold and other metals. And yeah, so a staff had to have the diameter that was the same diameter as one of the king's 1/4 pound pieces of silver, or thicker, to be thick enough that when you swung it through the air to hit somebody on the skull, it would crush their skull and kill them, even if they had iron armor caps on to protect themselves. And that, in my opinion, is the true definition of a quarterstaff, from my ability of being able to clap my hands literally and make my quarterstaff literally dance in the air. And here in Edmonton today on Sunday, it's relatively warm. I think I myself say it's climate globally changed warm, because it's like almost 10 degrees above Celsius here, which for you Fahrenheit lovers in other parts of the world, that'd be like in the high 40s, I think. Maybe even low 50s. And what I mean by clapping hands is, of course, two hands clapping. There's many different ways that clapping can explain, which I can't really do with this camera that I'm holding. Here's one hand clapping. That's hard for me to do because of the horrid monstrous scars upon the hand and other such reasons. And yes, indeed, here in Canada, it's cold. That is my quarterstaff. I have boldly claimed that I can literally clap and literally make the quarterstaff dance in the air. This is a revelation of truth some find hard to accept. Some, when they first see this, think it's some kind of weird special effect, that it's some new 3D holographic projector. Others say I'm using the dark side of the magical forces. Some say it's miraculous. Some say it's computer-generated effects. And some just say I'm lying when I claim I can do something. No, it is true. I, Dave Dowling, can literally clap my hands and literally make my quarterstaff literally dance in the air. And I don't just clap my hands one way. There's many ways to clap one's hands. If you look it up at Google, I just demonstrated a one-hand clapping motion that some people don't even know about. And that brings us to truth. What is truth? How do you know when you've seen truth? How do you define truth? How do we go from the objective and get there? because everything we sense with our senses is subjective. Our sight, our smell, our taste, our hearing, our touch, our five senses, and some argue we have more than five senses, but our five senses are all subjective. I'm going to explain subjective with our sight. Our sight is based upon vision. What vision is like photons from the setting sun over there. They go around and bounce off stuff and hit biological chemical receptors in our eyes. I do believe they are a photochemical receptor that takes those photons and translates that photon energy into a nerve impulse. It travels up our optical nerves to our brain, where that chemical nerve impulse is translated through various electrochemical means into what we call a thought. For example, this staff, light comes down from that sun, bounces off it to the camera, hits the receptor in the camera, which is similar to our eyes, and the camera interprets that, and we get an image of a staff there. With my hand there, it also shows it's staff. When I tell you it's winter here, you can see that white stuff is all snow on the ground. And this is a large field here, and the snow's actually fairly deep here. It's I'd say it's a good 12 inches deep. I just trudged across it there. There's my footprints through the snow. And yes, what is truth? How do we go from that subjective to objectively saying a staff is there, and that I can truly make it dance in the air by clapping my hands? We make that by a leap of reasoning. We perceive subjective evidence. For example, if you were here, you could see me with this staff. You'd come up and touch this staff. You could hold it in your hand like I am right now, where it's out of the ground. You could get a tape measure and see that I'm correct. It's a bit over 5 feet in length. You could even, if you wanted, stick your tongue out and taste the staff, but I wouldn't recommend that. And you could even try and smell the staff. You might smell some of the dirt on the end from me dropping it and stuff, or the dirt on this end from it hitting the ground. And you might even be able to listen to the staff if it hits something like the bench of a table in the middle of a snow-clad field. Yes, indeed, we use that subjective evidence to make a leap of reasoning to what we believe our opinion of the truth is. Because, as I said, our thoughts do not directly go out and touch the staff. We perceive evidence. Apparently, from what I was reading, my hand doesn't even touch the staff. There's a atomic force that actually repels the atoms in my hand, and what's happening is there's electrostatic magnetic fields that touch each other, and then my senses in my hand, those nerves that give me touch, they interpretate that as me touching the staff. And that's what any truth is. It doesn't matter if it's a scientific truth, a religious truth, or a truth about love, or something else. That's how the mind arrives at it. It makes a leap of reasoning to what it believes the truth to be. And this is why fundamentalist zealots that disagree with me and, think the earth is flat, they can't understand that it's not flat. Like the flat earth zealot fundamentalist, you can literally heap mountains of evidence in front of them. Literal mountains of evidence. You could literally take them to space where they see the curvature of the earth and fly around the earth, and they would still lie it's flat. Why? Because they cannot leap. Their fundamentalist zealot opinion is a big, tall wall. Usually it's a tall, invisible wall built inside their mind by the upbringing that they had. when it comes to fundamentalist zealotism. It's usually from bad teaching, lies, and other such horror that a mind becomes so rigid it becomes a fundamentalist zealot and lies to itself that, Dave Dowling can't make a staff dance in the air by literally clapping his hands. No, it's true. I can. And this is a revelation of truth most deny because they can't handle it. It conflicts with what they know. But no, it's true. When I literally clap my hands, my staff literally dances in the air. And that's how we arrive at truth, people. It doesn't matter what the truth is. You have an opinion is true, because that's all it is an opinion. Because objective truth, some argue actual objective truth doesn't even exist because our entire world is subjective due to the fact that the only evidence we have is subjective evidence. You can go talk with great, theological, psychological, and philosophical masters, and most of the ones that know anything about nothing will pretty well agree with me, or give you just a different version of it in their own words, because most people have a hard time agreeing anyone is correct when the truth they are revealing conflicts with the lies they have. When people have a revelation of truth that destroys their lives, man, I've seen people actually go running out the door screaming, calling me the Antichrist. It's crazy what fundamentalism mixed with zealotry and opinion can do. And it's a bad combination. The world, in my opinion, needs more lies removed from it. We definitely need less lies in the world. And we need far more truth. Truth is excellent. Truth enables us to make miracles like smiles, goalposts for people to play sports games with and keep in shape health-wise. And we also need freedom, that freedom to vote on everything government wants to do, which nobody has. Here in Canada, in every nation, we have representative government. Here in Canada, our representative government works by, we get to vote when we're age 18. We vote every 4 years for our representative until the life expectancy of age 81. That's 15 votes in an entire life. Down in the States, it's like 30 votes in an entire life. Even if it's 60 votes in an entire life, it's not enough. A quarter peanut every 4 years is not a democracy or a republic. It's a virus causing all kinds of woe, like climate change, which I mentioned earlier. I am Dave Dowling. It is close to sunset here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And you all have a good day and good week. And subscribe, like, and set notifications on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my controversial videos I post.